It's midday and you are welcome to the midweek news on AAU TV, coming to you live from the headquarters of the Association of African Universities. Let's take a look at our headlines. GIMPA defends PhD standards amid student complaints. Philemon Foundation hosts breast cancer screening in Accra. IMF warns of rising domestic borrowing risk in Africa. Israel resumes strikes after alleged ceasefire breach. Please stay with us for more AAU TV after this break. My name is Philemon Edwards. You're welcome back. And in our first story, the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, GIMPA, has dismissed allegations of frustrating PhD candidates, insisting it will not compromise academic standards. The controversy stems from an ad hoc review committee established to vet doctoral research papers before they are presented to the public. While students review the move as administrative interference, GIMPA maintains it is a standard quality assurance process aimed at strengthening the credibility of its doctoral programs. The institute says maintaining rigorous standards is essential to protect its academic integrity and global reputation. The Governing Council is expected to review the petition filed by students in the coming weeks. In a statement signed by Rector Professor Samuel Kwekubonsu, the Institute described the report as misleading and lacking full context, emphasizing that its academic standards remain non-negotiable. The controversy stems from an ad hoc committee introduced by GIMPA's academic board to review doctoral papers before public presentations. While some students from the School of Public Service and Governance see the move as interference that delays their progress, GIMPA says the measure is a quality assurance mechanism, a standard academic practice designed to improve research outputs. The institute maintains that its responsibility is to produce world-class doctoral graduates through rigor, integrity, and relevance in research. Professor Bonsu stated that GIMPA cannot compromise its integrity by graduating students who fail to meet required standards. GIMPA acknowledged the students' petition to the Governing Council, but stressed that a PhD is not a race against time. The institution insists that maintaining quality is crucial for protecting its academic reputation, even as it promises support for deserving students. As the Council reviews the matter, the standoff highlights a wider debate across academia, balancing student expectations with institutional standards. For GIMPA, the message is clear: quality will not be sacrificed for convenience. Still on higher education, Nigeria's university system once again in crisis as the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, begins a two-week nationwide strike, disrupting learning across all federal universities. The strike, which started on October 13, stems from the government's failure to implement agreements dating back to 2009 fully. ASU President Professor Chris Piwuna says the union is ready to resume talks after receiving calls from senior government negotiators. The government, however, insists it has met key obligations, including a 50 billion naira payment in old allowances. Education stakeholders blame poor governance and broken promises for the recurring strikes that have crippled Nigeria's higher education system for years. The Education Minister has directed Vice Chancellors to enforce a no-work, no-pay policy, even as calls intensify for sincere dialogue to end the crisis.
The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, says the government has failed to honor long-standing agreements dating back more than a decade, forcing the union to resume industrial action that has disrupted academic calendars across the country. ASU President Professor Chris Piwuna confirmed the union is open to dialogue after receiving calls from government officials, including the chair of the Federal Negotiation Team, Alhaji Yayali Ahmed. But the government insists it has fulfilled its commitment, citing a 50 billion naira disbursement in earned allowances and assurances that other areas will be addressed in the 2026 budget. Education stakeholders, however, accuse the government of neglecting the sector, describing the repeated strike as a symptom of misplaced priorities and failed leadership. Meanwhile, the Education Minister has ordered universities to ensure a no-work, no-pay policy, raising tensions further. With students once again caught in the middle, many are wondering how much longer Nigeria's education system can endure this endless cycle of strike and stalled reforms.
In Ghana's capital, Accra, the Philemon Foundation has organized a free breast cancer and general health screening to mark Breast Cancer Awareness Month this October. This initiative held at the foundation's premises aimed to promote early detection and preventive health care among residents through breast examination, blood pressure checks, and vital health assessments. The outreach forms part of the foundation's ongoing commitment to improving community well-being and encouraging Ghanaians to take proactive steps in safeguarding their health.
The free breast and health screening event held at the foundation's premises drew dozens of residents who benefited from breast examinations, blood pressure checks, and other vital health screenings aimed at preventing diseases before they become life-threatening. Director of the foundation, Irabna Jankuma Efrifa, said the initiative reflects the organization's mission to improve community well-being through impactful health interventions. She noted that the exercise was open to all, including men, highlighting that breast cancer is not a woman-only condition. Health experts partnering in the initiative emphasized that early detection remains the most effective way to reduce breast cancer deaths in Ghana. Dr. Isaac Yebua from the Rural Health Foundation explained that many cases at Kolebu Teaching Hospital are diagnosed at late stages, stressing that early detection could mean the difference between life and death. He added that participants showing early symptoms were promptly referred to health facilities for follow-up care. Beyond this outreach, a Philemon Foundation continues to lead community development projects nationwide, from building schools and bridges to supporting rural health programs, reaffirming its long-term commitment to improving lives and strengthening preventive health care across Ghana.
Stick with us for Discovery News after this break.
Are you a university, college, high school, private organization, NGO, individual professor, instructor or facilitator seeking to take advantage of the numerous benefits of online education? Look no further. The AAU eLearn Africa LMS is a great opportunity to begin your journey to online course development and creation for teaching, learning and training purposes. AAU eLearn Africa LMS, which is a partnership between the Association of African Universities and eLearn Africa, has made available ease to use online learning tools to all stakeholders within the educational ecosystem of the African continent. This is to enhance teaching and learning in the bid to expand online learning opportunities for students in Africa. The online platform is open and available for free to all stakeholders and facilitates virtual access to classes without needing the other tools such as Zoom, Microsoft Teams, among others. For more information, visit www.elearnafricalms.com or contact us via aaulms@aau.org or estherm@elearnafrica.com. Follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook at AAU eLearn Africa LMS.
Come back from the break. Ghana's drive toward a digital and knowledge-based economy took a major leap this week when Deputy Minister Mohamed Adam Sukbaru inaugurated the Center for Innovation, Technology Skills and Entrepreneurship training at the Ghana Communication Technology University in Accra. The center, launched to bridge the digital skills gap and promote entrepreneurship, is backed by the Ministry of Communications and Digitalization through investments in infrastructure, cybersecurity, and innovation training. Sukbaru said the initiative marks Ghana's commitment to nurturing local talent and preparing students for a fast-evolving digital economy through practical, job-ready skills and global collaboration.
Speaking at the launch, the Deputy Minister described the project as a symbol of Ghana's future, one that nurtures homegrown innovators and empowers young people to turn their ideas into global solutions. He announced that the ministry is supporting Ghana Communication Technology University, GCTU, with new digital infrastructure, including high-speed fiber connectivity, campus-wide Wi-Fi, and a cutting-edge cybersecurity lab for digital forensic and technical hacking training. The facility, he explained, will not only produce job-ready graduates, but also strengthen Ghana's national cyber defense capabilities. Sukbaru praised GCTU's bold vision to create a Silicon Valley-style ecosystem within Ghana, one that fosters collaboration between academia, industry, and government. As global demand for tech talent surges, the new center stands as proof of Ghana's determination to lead Africa's digital transformation through innovation, skill building, and sustainable development.
In sports, 18-year-old striker Richmond Opoku of Young Apostles FC has been named NASCO Player of the Month for September in the 2025-2026 Ghana Premier League after a string of match-winning performances that helped his club soar to third place on the table. The announcement was made in Accra following his selection over Karela United's Mohamed Zaidan and Hearts of Lions' Eche Dogli. The 18-year-old striker, Richmond Opoku, bagged 3 goals in 3 games, including a crucial equalizer against Hohoe United and a stunning brace in the victory over Dreams FC, powering the Wenchi Bay side to their best-ever start since promotion in 2024. Opoku edged out Karela United's Mohamed Zaidan and Hearts of Lions' Eche Dogli to win the award, earning a NASCO 43-inch television and a double-door refrigerator as his prize. His form has lifted Young Apostles to third on the league table with 10 points from 5 matches, an impressive turnaround for a club that narrowly escaped relegation last season. After unremarkable spells with Asante Kotoko and Nswatram FC, Opoku's breakout with Young Apostles has made him the league's top scorer with 4 goals in 5 games. His resurgence highlights how opportunity and the right environment can unlock young talent. The striker's rise has also energized the Wenchi community, whose passionate support continues to drive the club's fairy tale stats. As Young Apostles face defending champions BBNE Gold Stars next, all eyes will be on Richmond Opoku, the teenager whose goals are rewriting the club's story in Ghanaian football. And in entertainment, tens of thousands of fans gathered at the Black Star Square in Accra on Saturday, October 18, 2025 for Shatta Wale's grand birthday concert, Shatterfest 2025. The free event held to celebrate his 41st birthday featured top Ghanaian and international acts who kept the crowd dancing through the night. The concert showcased Shatta Wale's unmatched influence and connection with fans, reinforcing his legacy as one of Ghana's biggest music icons. Industry analysts say the event sets a new benchmark for large-scale entertainment in Ghana.
The event, hosted by dancehall star Shatta Wale in celebration of his 41st birthday, turned the capital into a sea of whites as fans packed the venue and surrounding streets hours before showtime. Shatta Wale, who celebrated his birthday on October 17th, described the concert as his personal gesture of appreciation to fans who have supported his journey from the beginning. The electrifying night featured performances from Sarkodie, Samini, Wendy Shea, Medical, Kelvin Boy, Amrado, Darko Vibes, Tiny, and Dope Nations, among others, keeping the energy alive until sunrise. In one emotional moment, Shatta Wale honored rapper Tiny with a citation from his early mentorship and brought Nigerian influencers Pella and Big Ziggy on stage to reconcile publicly. Powered by Momo Fest, with support from Shaxi and Charterhouse, the concert wrapped up around 7:05 a.m. on Sunday, a testament to Shatta Wale's magnetic pull and showmanship. Born Charles Ni Amamensa Jr., Shatta Wale has long cemented his place as Ghana's dancehall king with hits like Dancehall King, My Level, and Taking Over. His collaboration with Beyoncé on Already earned him global acclaim. Meanwhile, the award-winning artist has submitted his latest single, Street Crown, for Grammy consideration, signaling yet another bold move in a career defined by passion, performance, and power.
And in business, the International Monetary Fund has cautioned that growing reliance of sub-Saharan African governments on domestic banks to finance national budgets is raising borrowing costs, straining local lenders, and crowding out private investments. The warning came on Thursday during the IMF and World Bank annual meetings in Washington, following the release of the fund's latest regional economic outlook. The report shows that local borrowing has become significantly more expensive than external debt, with many banks now heavily exposed to government securities. The IMF says this trend could weaken banking systems and slow economic recovery efforts across the region if left unchecked.
The International Monetary Fund is warning that sub-Saharan African governments' increasing dependence on domestic banks for financing is creating fresh economic risks across the region. In its latest regional economic outlook, unveiled on Thursday at the IMF and World Annual Meetings in Washington, the fund revealed that governments are paying higher interest rates at home than they would abroad, putting mounting pressure on local lenders and pushing up borrowing costs. The IMF said that many African financial markets remained underdeveloped, fragmented, and illiquid, with high transaction costs making domestic borrowing significantly more expensive than external loans. It added that growing bank exposure to government debt could trigger what it called a vicious feedback loop, where fiscal stress undermines financial stability and restricts credit to the private sector. IMF African Department Director Abebe Emro Selassie told Reuters that while borrowing locally demonstrates financial maturity, it also poses new risks. He explained that about half of total public debt in the region is now owed by domestic banks, a situation that could strain national banking systems if governments face repayment challenges. After years of being locked out of international markets due to high interest rates and economic instability, some African nations began returning to global bond markets in 2024. However, the IMF cautions that over-reliance on local borrowing could create another debt trap, this time within their own borders. The fund urges African governments to strike a balance between domestic and external financing, whilst implementing fiscal reforms to protect public finances and financial stability.
And on the international front, Israeli forces resumed strikes on Sunday after reporting an alleged ceasefire breach in Rafah, Gaza, killing soldiers and dozens of Palestinians. While the Israel Defense Forces (IDF) said it would reinforce the truce, Hamas denied knowledge of the clashes, and U.S. envoys and world leaders moved to contain an unraveling agreement through diplomacy and aid channels. The renewed violence marks the worst escalation since the U.S.-brokered ceasefire began on October 10. Analysts warn that without swift intervention, the fragile truce could completely collapse, reigniting full-scale conflicts across Gaza.
Overnight, a fragile ceasefire in Gaza came under severe strain after intense fighting in the Rafah area on Sunday. Israeli military officials said 2 soldiers were killed when militants fired an anti-tank missile and gunfire toward troops operating there, and Israeli warplanes struck targets across the enclave in response. By evening, hospital sources reported dozens of deaths across Gaza, including strikes on civilian sites and a school sheltering displaced families. Hamas denied knowledge of the specific Rafah clashes, saying its remaining units had been cut off and that it had no direct information about events in that area. The Israel Defense Forces later announced it had begun renewed enforcement of the ceasefire while warning it would respond to any further violations. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu instructed security chiefs to act forcefully against what his office described as terrorist infrastructure in Gaza. Washington moved quickly to stabilize the truce. U.S. envoys were sent to the region and officials urged an immediate resumption of humanitarian access. Israeli and Palestinian accounts differ sharply over responsibility, and the upshot is grim. Hospitals already operating at the brink face new waves of casualties, vital aid corridors remain precarious, and the fragile pause that allowed hostage exchanges and prisoner releases is at risk. Diplomats say rapid coordination on de-escalation guarantees for medical evacuations and uninterrupted deliveries of aid will determine whether the ceasefire holds or slides back into wider conflict. Reporting from the field indicates the humanitarian cost is mounting and international pressure is likely to intensify as leaders seek to prevent further collapse.
Thank you for staying with us. Let's take a last look at our headlines. GIMPA defends PhD standards amid students' complaint. Philemon Foundation hosts breast cancer screening in Accra. IMF warns of rising domestic borrowing risk in Africa. Israel resumes strikes after alleged ceasefire breach. Thank you for sticking with us on the AAU Midweek News and get interactive with us on our dedicated news hub on Association of African Universities on YouTube and on Facebook. My name is Philemon. Have a good day.